I cry out in surprise. Travels leisurely, insolently, almost, down my body, fondling and feeling as it goes, tweaking my nipple on the way. I yelp in response, sharp and hot, from my nipple to my groin. I make another fruitless attempt to knock him off, but he's just too on me. When he tries to kiss me, I jerk my head to the side so he can't. Promptly, his insolent hand moves from the hem of my t-shirt up to my chin, holding me in place as he runs his teeth along my jaw, mirroring what I did to him earlier. "Oh, baby, bite me," he murmurs. I twist and writhe, trying to free myself from his hold, but it's hopeless. He's much stronger than me.
Better than any other.
I don't care that I haven't brushed my teeth. I don't care that we're supposed to be playing some game. Desire, hot and hard, surges through my bloodstream, and I'm lost. I wrap my legs around his hips and use my heels to push his pajamas behind. "Anna," he breathes, and kisses me everywhere, and we're no longer wrestling, but all hands and tongues and touch and taste, quick and urgent. "Skin," he murmurs hoarsely, his breathing labored. He drags me up and tugs off my t-shirt. He's hard. The air weighs him tightly, running my hand up and down him, feeling a bead of moisture on his tip. I swirl it around with my thumb. As he lowers me to the mattress, I slip my thumb in my mouth to taste him, while his hands travel up my body, caressing my hips, my stomach, my breasts.
The guy said Mesopotamia, and I thought he
"Tastes
said
good?"
Mesopotamia.
he asks as he hovers over me, eyes blazing. "Yes, here." I push my thumb into his mouth, and he sucks and bites the pad. I groan, grasp his head, and pull him down to me so I can kiss him. Wrapping my legs around him, I push his pajamas off his legs with my feet, then cradle him with my legs around his waist. His lips trail from across my jaw to my chin, nipping softly. "You're so beautiful." He dips his head lower to the base of my throat. "Such beautiful skin." His breath is soft as his lips glide down to my breasts. What? I am panting, confused, wanting, now waiting. I thought this was going to be quick. "Christian," I hear the quiet plea in my voice and reach down, fisting my hands in his hair. "Hush," he whispers, and circles my nipple with his tongue before pulling it into his mouth and tugging hard. "Ah!" I moan and squirm, tilting my pelvis up to tempt him. He grins against my skin and turns his attention to my other breast. Impatient, Mrs. Gray. He then sucks hard on my nipple. I tug his hair. He groans and peers up. "I'll restrain you," he mourns. "Take me," I beg. "All in good time," he murmurs against my skin. His hand travels down at an infuriatingly slow speed to my hip as he worships my nipple with his mouth. I moan loudly, my breath short and shallow, and I try once more to entice him into me, rocking against him. He's thick and heavy and close, but he's taking his own sweet, leisurely time with me. Fuck this. I struggle and twist, determined to buck him off me again. What the? Grabbing my hands, Christian pins them down on the bed, my arms spread wide, and rests his full body weight on me, completely subduing me. I am breathless, wild. "You wanted resistance?" I say, panting. He rears up over me and gazes down, his hands still locked around my wrists. I place my heels under his behind and push. He doesn't move. "Ah! You don't want to play nice?" he asks, astonished, his eyes alight with excitement. "I just want you to make love to me, Christian." Could he be any more obtuse? First we're fighting and wrestling, then he's all tender and sweet. It's confusing. I'm in bed with Mr. Mercurial. "Please." I press my heels against his backside once more. Burning gray eyes search mine. smiles, pulling me into his lap. Okay, Mrs. Gray, we'll do this your way. He lifts me up and slowly lowers me onto him so I'm straddling him. Ah! This is it. This is what I want. This is what I need. Curling my arms around his neck, I twist my fingers in his hair, glorying in the feeling of him inside me. I start to move, taking control, taking him at my pace, at my speed. He moans and his lips find mine, and we're lost. I trail my fingers through the hair on Christian's chest. He lies on his back, still and quiet beside me, as we both catch our breath. His hand thrums rhythmically down my back. You're quiet, I whisper, and kiss his shoulder. He turns and looks at me, his expression giving nothing away. That was fun. Shit. Is something wrong? You confound me, Anna. Confound you? He shifts so that we're face to face. Yes, you. Calling the shots. It's different. Good different or bad different? I trail a finger over his lips. His brow furrows as if he doesn't quite understand the question. Absent-mindedly, he kisses my finger. Good different, he says, but he doesn't sound convinced. You've never indulged this little fantasy before? I blush as I say it. Do I really want to know any more about my husband's colorful, kaleidoscopic sex life before me? My subconscious eyes me warily over her tortoise-shell half-moon specs. Do you really want to go there? No, Anastasia. You can touch me. It's a simple explanation that speaks volumes.
It doesn't go
Of
up every
course,
single fucking
the 15
I listen to
couldn't.
songs all the time and it should be going.
Mrs. Robinson could touch you.
And it never does.
I murmur the words
And
before
unless
my
it
brain
does.
registers what I've said.
No, trust me.
Shit.
And
Why
then
did
you
I
say,
mention
"We don't wanna do
her?"
that."
He stills.
Why? 'Cause
His
they
eyes
inflate the
widen
numbers
with
for a lot
his,
of artists.
oh no, where's
It
she
goes
going
up
with this expression?
Then it's
That
fine.
was
Then fuck
different.
it.
He
Whatever your song
whispers.
plays are, who cares?
Suddenly, I
Who
want to
cares
know.
what Spotify likes to say?
Good
Who cares what
different
iHeartRadio
or
likes to
bad
say? Who cares what
different?
Apple
He
Apple
gazes
Applebee's
at
is
me.
the best one for everything.
Doubt
Who
and
cares what you
possibly
wanna say it
pain
is?
flit across his face.
I'm number one.
And fleetingly, he looks like a man drowning. Bad, I think. His words are barely audible.
Manipulated with like
Holy
payola and
shit.
shit.
I thought
But
you
at
liked
least
it.
you can,
I
you know
did.
what, you know how to
At the
manipulate
time.
that. It's I'll give
Not
you
now?
X amount of money,
He gazes at
and
me,
I want to be number
eyes
one, as
wide,
opposed to
then
hey
slowly
Spotify,
shakes his
knock,
head.
knock, knock. How the fuck do I get
Oh
my things to
my.
go up more? Your
Oh,
fucking shit doesn't make sense. They
Christian.
don't have those discussions.
I'm overwhelmed by the feelings that swamped me. My lost boy.
So,
I launch myself at him and kiss his face, his throat, his chest, his little round scars. He groans, pulls me to him, and kisses me passionately, and very slowly and tenderly, at his pace. He makes love to me once more. Anna Tyson, punching above your weight. Ethan applauds as I head into the kitchen for breakfast. He's sitting with Mia and Kate at the breakfast bar while Mrs. Bentley cooks waffles. Christian is nowhere to be seen. Good morning, Mrs. Gray. Mrs. Bentley smiles. What would you like for breakfast? Good morning. Whatever's going, thank you. Where's Christian? Outside. Kate gestures with her head toward the backyard. I wander over to the window that looks out over the yard and the mountains beyond. It's a clear, powder blue summer day, and my beautiful husband is about 20 feet away in deep discussion with some clear, powder blue summer day away in deep discussion with some.
people, I mean,
That's
serious.
Mr. He's
It's
talking
fucking
to.
serious. People,
Calls Mia from the
used to be
breakfast
to go to
bar.
Walmart and
I
they're
turn
like,
to look
hey,
at her,
are you
distracted by
following
her
me?
sulky
I
tones.
remember pressing
She
it.
looks venomously at Ethan.
And they're like,
Oh
no,
dear. I wonder once more what's going on between them. Frowning, I turn my attention back to my husband and Mr. Bentley. Mrs. Bentley's husband is fair-haired, dark-eyed, and wiry, dressed in work pants and an Aspen Fire Department t-shirt. Christian is dressed in his black jeans and
bullshit,
t-shirt.
like
as the two men amble across the lawn toward the house, lost in their conversation. Christian casually bends to pick up what looks like a bamboo cane that must have been blown over or discarded in the flower bed. Pausing, Christian absentmindedly holds out the cane at arm's length as if weighing it carefully and swipes it through the air just once.
Or you're gonna downgrade me. Not make sure
Mr.
my fucking
Bentley
line
appears
is
to see nothing odd in his behavior. They continue their discussion, nearer to the house this time, then pause once more, and Christian repeats the gesture. The tip of the cane hits the ground. Glancing up, Christian sees me standing at the window. "And you don't, oh, soon-to-be sister-in-law?" I reply, grinning, and trying to bury the disquieting visual of Christian wielding a cane. I am startled when Kate leaps up and hugs me. "Sister!" she exclaims, and it's hard not to be swept up in her joy. "Hey, sleepyhead." Christian wakes me. "We're about to land. Buckle up." I fumble sleepily for my seatbelt, but Christian fastens it for me. He kisses my forehead before settling back into his seat. Yesterday afternoon, she was so unsure of him. What did Christian call him? Lelliot. Perhaps that's a family nickname? It was sweet. Better than man-whore. Abruptly, Elliot opens his eyes and is straight at me. He grins. "I sure love your blush, Anna." Kate gives me herself. "How was your weekend, Mrs. Gray?" Christian asks once we're in the Audi heading back to Escala. Taylor and Ryan are up front. "Good, thank you." I smile, feeling shy all of a sudden. "We can go anytime. Take anyone you wish to take." "We should take Ray. He'd like the fishing." "That's a good idea." "How was it for you?" I ask. "Good," he says after a moment, surprised by my question. I think. "Real good." "You seemed to relax." He shrugs. "I knew you were safe." I frown.
What was your favorite part of
"Christian,
the movie?
I'm safe most of the time. I've told you before, you'll keel over at 40 if you keep up this level of anxiety. And I want to grow old and gray with you." I grasp his hand. He looks at me as if he can't comprehend what I'm saying. He gently kisses my knuckles and changes the subject. "How's your hand?" "It's better, thank you." He smiles. "Very good, Mrs. Gray. You ready to face Gia again?" Oh, crap. I'd forgotten we were seeing her this evening to go over the final plans. I roll my eyes. "I might want to keep you out of the way. Keep you safe." I smirk. "Protecting me?" Christian is laughing at me. As ever, Mr. Gray, from all sexual predators. Did he know? And if he did know, would he tell me? I sigh. Getting information out of Christian is like pulling teeth. And we've had such a lovely weekend. Do I want to ruin a feel-good moment by trying to drag the information out of him? It's been a revelation to see him out of his normal environment, outside this apartment, relaxed and happy with his family. I wonder vaguely if it's because we're here in this apartment, with all its memories and associations, that he gets wound up. Maybe we should move. I snort. We are moving. We're having a huge house refurbished on the coast. Gia's plans are complete and approved, and Elliot's team starts building next week. I chuckle as I recall Gia's shocked expression when I told her that I'd seen her in Aspen. Turns out it was nothing but coincidence. She'd camped out at her holiday place to work solely on our plans. For one awful moment, I thought she'd had a hand in choosing the ring, but apparently not. But I still don't trust Gia. I want to hear the same story from Elliot. At least she kept her distance from Christian this time. I look out at the night sky. I will miss this view, this panoramic vista. Seattle at our feet, so full of possibilities, yet so far removed. Maybe that's Christian's problem. He's been too isolated from real life for too long, thanks to his self-imposed exile. Yet, with his family around him, he is less controlling, less anxious, freer, happier. I wonder what Flynn would make of all that. Holy crap, Maybe that's the answer. Maybe he needs his own family.
Okay.
I shake my head in denial. We're too young, too new to all this. Christian strides into the room, looking his usual gorgeous but pensive self. Everything okay? I ask. He nods distractedly as he climbs into bed. I'm not looking forward to going back to reality, I murmur. No? I shake my head and caress his lovely face. I had a wonderful weekend. Thank you. He smiles softly. You're my reality, Anna. He murmurs and kisses me. Do you miss it?
Remember when that one was
Miss
good?
what? He asks, perplexed.
Yeah.
You know, the caning and stuff. I whisper, embarrassed. He stares at me, his gaze impassive. Then doubt crosses his face. His "where is she going with this" look. No, Anastasia, I don't. His voice is steady and quiet. He caresses my cheek. Dr. Flynn said something to me when you left. Something that's stayed with me. He said I couldn't be that way if you weren't so inclined. It was a revelation. He stopped his ass on it. Do you use it? He asks. Oh. I don't want you to hurt me, but I like to... I shrug, gazing at him. Something? You know, with the flogger or your crop? A shame. He raises his brow, surprised. Well, we'll see. Right now, I'd like some good old-fashioned vanilla. 11. 9. That is all. Yours always, A.X. Anastasia Gray, editor, SIP. From Christian Gray. Subject, Vanishing Monday Blues. Date, August 29th, 2011. 9:18. To Anastasia Gray. Mrs. Gray, what gratifying words to hear from one's wife. Errand or not. On a Monday morning, be assured that I feel exactly the same way. X. Christian Gray, CEO, Gray Enterprises Holdings, Inc. Oh yes, the American Shipbuilding Association dinner. I roll my eyes. More stuffed shirts. Christian really does take me to the most fascinating functions. From Anastasia Gray. Subject, Ships That Pass in the Night. Date, August 29th, 2011. 9:26. To Christian Gray. Dear Mr. Gray, I am sure you can think of a way to spice up the dinner. Yours in anticipation, Mrs. G. X. Anastasia, non-errant, Gray. Editor, SIP. From Christian Gray. Subject, Variety is the Spice of Life. Date, August 29th, 2011. 9:35. To Anastasia Gray. Mrs. Gray, I have a few ideas. X. Christian Gray. O. Gray Enterprises Holdings, now impatient for the ASA dinner, Inc. All the muscles in my belly clench. I wonder what he'll dream up. Hannah knocks on the door, interrupting my reverie. Ready to go through your schedule for this week, Anna? Sure. Sit. I smile, recovering my equilibrium, and minimize my email program. I've had to move a couple of appointments. Mr. Fox next week, and Dr. My phone rings, interrupting her. It's Roach. He asks me up to his office. Can we pick this up in 20 minutes? Of course. From Christian Gray. Subject, last night. Date, August 30th, 2011. 9:24. To Anastasia Gray. Was fun. Who would have thought the ASA annual dinner could be so stimulating? As ever, you never disappoint, Mrs. Gray. I love you. X. Christian Gray. In awe, CEO, Gray Enterprises Holdings, Inc. From Anastasia Gray. Subject, I love a good ball game. Date, August 30th, 2011, 9:33. To Christian Gray. Dear Mr. Gray, I have missed the silver balls. You never disappoint. That is all. Mrs. G. X. Anastasia Gray. Editor, SIP. It means I have to move some of your appointments again. Is that okay? Sure, yes, I mutter, trying to halt my wayward thoughts. She grins and ducks out of my office, leaving me with my delicious memory of last night. From Christian Gray. Subject, hide. Date, September 1st, 2011, 15:24. To Anastasia Gray. Anastasia, for your information, Hyde has been refused bail and remanded in custody. He's charged with attempted kidnapping set for the trial. Christian Prescott. Anna X. Anastasia Gray, editor, SIP. From Christian Gray. Subject, Hyde. Date, September 1st, 2011, 15:59. To Anastasia Gray. No, security will remain in place. No arguments. What's wrong with Prescott? If you don't like her, we'll replace her. I scowl at his high-handed. Prescott isn't that bad. From Anastasia Gray. Subject, keep your hair on. Date, September 1st, 2011, 16:03. To Christian Gray. I was just asking, rolls eyes, and I'll think about Prescott. Stow that twitchy palm. Anna X. Anastasia Gray, editor, SIP. From Christian Gray. Subject, don't tempt me. Date, September 1st, 2011, 16:11. To Anastasia Gray. I can assure you, Mrs. Gray, that my hair is very firmly attached. Has this not been demonstrated often enough by your good self? My palm, however, is twitching. I might do something about that tonight. X. Christian Gray. Not bald yet, CEO. Gray Enterprises Holdings, Inc. From Anastasia Gray. Subject, squirm. Date, September 1st, 2011, 16:20. To Christian Gray. Promises, promises. Now stop pestering me. I am trying to work. I have an impromptu meeting with an author. We'll try not to be distracted by thoughts of you during the meeting. A. X. Anastasia Gray, editor, SIP. From Anastasia Gray. Subject, nailing and soaring and spanking. Date, September 5th, 2011, 9:18. To Christian Gray. Husband, you sure know how to show a girl a good time. I shall of course be expecting this kind of treatment every weekend. You are spoiling me. I love it. Your wife, XOX. Anastasia Gray, editor, SIP. From Christian Gray. Subject, my life's mission. Date, September 5th, 2011, 9:25. To Anastasia Gray. Is to spoil you, Mrs. Gray, and keep you safe because I love you. Christian Gray, smitten CEO, Gray Enterprises Holdings, Inc. Oh my, could he be any more romantic? From Anastasia Gray. Subject, my life's mission. Date, September 5th, 2011, 9:33. To Christian Gray. Is to let you, because I love you too. Now stop being so sappy. You are making me cry. Anastasia Gray, equally smitten editor, SIP. The following day, I gaze at the calendar on my desk. Only 5 days until September 10th, my birthday. I know we are driving out to the house to see how Elliot and his crew are progressing. I wonder if I smile at the thought. Hannah taps on my door. Come in. Prescott is hovering outside. Odd.
Bullshit.
Hi, Anna, says Hannah. There's a Layla Williams here to see you. And Hannah's eyes widen at my expression.
Yeah, dog.
Layla? Fuck. What does she want? Chapter 16. Do you want me to send her away? Hannah asks. Expression. No. Where is she? In reception. She's not alone. She's accompanied by another young woman. Oh. And Miss Prescott wants to talk to you. Hannah adds. I'm sure she does. Send her in. Hannah stands aside, and Prescott enters my office. She's on a mission, bristling with professional efficiency. Give me a moment, Hannah. Prescott, take a seat.
Small.
Hannah closes the door, leaving Prescott and me alone. Mrs. Gray, Layla Williams is on your prescribed list of visitors. What? I have a proscribed list? On our watch list, ma'am. Taylor and Welch have been quite specific about not letting her come into contact with you. I frown, not understanding. Is she dangerous? I can't say, ma'am. Why do I even know that she's here? Prescott swallows and, for a moment, looks awkward. I was on a restroom break. She came in, spoke directly to Claire, and Claire called Hannah. Oh, I see. I realize that even Prescott has to pee, and I laugh. Oh dear. Yes, ma'am. Prescott gives me an embarrassed grin, and it's the first time I've seen a chink in her armor. She has a long smile. I need to talk to Claire about protocol again, she says, her tone weary. Sure. Does Taylor know she's here? I cross my fingers unconsciously. She hasn't told Christian. I left a brief voice message for him. Oh. Then I only have a short time. I'd like to know what she wants. Prescott gazes at me for a moment. Advise against it, ma'am. She's here to see me for a reason. I'm supposed to prevent that, ma'am. Her voice is soft but resigned. I really want to hear what she has to say. My tone is more forceful than I intend. Prescott stifles her sigh. I'd like to search them both before you do. Okay. Can you do that? I'm here to protect you, Mrs. Gray, so yes, I can. I'd also like to stay with you while you talk. Okay. I'll grant her this concession. Besides, last time I met Layla, she was armed. Go ahead. Prescott rises. Hannah, I call. Hannah opens the door too quickly. She must have been hovering outside. Can you check to see if the meeting room, please? I already have, and it's good to go. Prescott, can you search them in there? Is it private enough? Yes, ma'am. I'll be there in 5 minutes then. Hannah, show Layla Williams and whomever she's with into the meeting room. Will do. Hannah looks anxiously from Prescott to me. Shall I cancel your next meeting? It's at 4, but it's across town. Yes, I murmur, distracted. Hannah nods and then leaves. What the hell does Layla want? I don't think she's here to do me any harm. She didn't in the past when she had the opportunity. Christian is going to go nuts. My subconscious purses her lips, primly crosses her legs, and nods. I need to tell him that I am doing this. I type a quick email, then pause, checking the time. I feel a momentary pang of regret. We've been getting along so well since Aspen. I press send. From Anastasia Gray. Subject, visitors. Date, September 6, 2011, 15:27. To Christian Gray. Christian, Layla is here to see me. I will see her with Prescott. Use my newly acquired slapping skills with my now healed hand, should I need to. Try, and I mean try, not to worry. I am a big girl. We'll call once we've spoken. A. X. Anastasia. Anastasia Gray, editor, SIP. Hurriedly, I hide my BlackBerry in my desk drawer. I stand, smoothing my gray pencil skirt over my hips, pinch my cheeks to give them some color, and undo the next button on my gray silk blouse. Okay, I'm ready. After taking a deep breath, I head out of my office to meet the infamous Layla, ignoring "Your love is king," humming gently from inside my desk. Layla looks much better. More than better. She's very attractive. There's a rosy bloom to her cheeks, and her brown eyes are bright, her hair clean and shiny. She's dressed in a pale pink blouse and white pants. She stands as soon as I enter the meeting room, as does her friend, another dark-haired young woman with soft brown eyes, the color of brandy. Prescott hovers in the corner, not taking her eyes off Layla. "Mrs. Gray, thank you so much for seeing me." Layla's voice is soft but clear. Sorry about the security," I mutter, because I cannot think what else to say. I wave a hand distractedly at Prescott. "This is my friend, Susie." "Hi." I nod at Susie. She looks like Layla. She looks like me. Oh no, another one. "Yes," Layla says, as if reading my thoughts. "Susie knows Mr. Gray, too." What the hell am I supposed to say to that? I give her a polite smile. "Please, sit," I murmur. There's a knock on the door. It's Hannah. I motion her in, knowing full well why she's disturbing us. "Sorry to interrupt, Anna. I have Mr. Gray on the line." "Tell him I'm busy." "He was quite insistent," she says fearfully. "I am sure he was. Would you apologize to him and say I'll call him back very shortly?" Hannah hesitates. "Hannah, please?" She nods and scurries out of the room. I turn back to the two women sitting in front of me. They are both staring at me in awe. It's uncomfortable. "What can I do for you?" I ask. Susie speaks. "I know this is all kinds of weird, but I wanted to meet you too. The woman who captured Chris." I hold up my hand, stopping her in mid-sentence. I do not want to hear this. I get the picture," I mutter. "We call ourselves the Sub Club." She grins at me, her eyes shining with mirth. Oh my God. Layla gasps and gapes at Susie, at once amused and appalled. Susie winces. I suspect Layla's kicked her under the table. What the hell am I supposed to say to that? I glance nervously at Prescott, who remains impassive, her eyes never leaving Layla. Susie seems to remember herself. She blushes, then nods and stands. I'll wait in reception. This is Lulu's show. I can tell she's embarrassed. "Lulu? You'll be okay?" she asks Layla, who smiles up at her. Susie gives me a large, open, genuine smile and exits the room. Susie and Christian. It's not a thought I wish to dwell on. Prescott takes her phone out of her pocket and answers. I didn't hear it ring. "Mr. Gray," she says. Layla and I turn to look at her. Prescott closes her eyes as if in pain. "Yes, sir," she says, stepping forward, and hands me the phone. I roll my eyes. "Christian?" I murmur, trying to contain my exasperation. I stand and stride briskly out of the room. "What the fuck are you playing at?" he shouts. He's seething. "Don't shout at me." "What do you mean, don't shout at you?" he shouts, louder this time. "I gave specific instructions which you have completely disregarded. Again. I am fucking furious." "When you're calmer, we will talk about this." "Don't you hang up on me," he hisses. "Goodbye, Christian." I hang up and switch off Prescott's phone. Holy shit. I don't have long with Layla. Taking a deep breath, I re-enter the meeting room. Both Layla and Prescott look up at me expectantly, and I hand Prescott her phone. "Where were we?" I ask Layla as I sit back down opposite her. Yes, apparently I handle him, I want to say to her. Wants to hear that. Layla fiddles nervously with the ends of her hair. First, I wanted to apologize, she says softly. Oh. She glances up and registers my surprise. Yes, she says quickly. And to thank you for not pressing charges, you know, for your car and in your apartment. I know you weren't, well, I murmur, reeling. I hadn't expected an apology. No, I wasn't. You're feeling better now? I ask gently. Much. Thank you. Does your doctor know you're here? She shakes her head. Oh. She looks suitably guilty. I know I'll have to deal with the fallout for this later, but I had to get some things, and I wanted to see Susie and you and Mr. Gray. You want to see Christian? My stomach free falls to the floor. That's why she's here. Yes, I wanted to ask you if that would be okay. Holy fuck. I gape at her, and I want to tell her that it's not okay. I don't want her anywhere near my husband. Why is she here? To assess the opposition? To unsettle me? Or perhaps she needs this as some sort of closure? Layla, I flounder, exasperated. It's not up to me. It's up to Christian. You'll need to ask him. He doesn't need my permission. He's a grown man. Most of the time. She gazes at me for a fraction of a beat, as if surprised by my reaction, and then laughs softly, nervously twiddling the ends of her hair. He's repeatedly refused all my requests to see him, she says quietly. Oh, shit. I'm in more trouble than I thought. Why is it so important for you to see him? I ask gently. I'd be rotting in a stinking prison psychiatric facility if it wasn't for him. I know that. She glances down and runs her finger along the edge of the table. I suffered a serious psychotic episode, and without Mr. Gray and John, Dr. Flynn, she shrugs and gazes at me once more, her face full of gratitude. Once again, I'm speechless. What does she expect me to say? Surely she should be saying these things to Christian, not me. And for art school, I can't thank him enough for that. I knew it. Christian is funding her classes. I remain expressionless, tentatively exploring my feelings for this woman now that she's confirmed my suspicions about Christian's generosity. To my surprise, I feel no ill will toward her. It's a revelation, and I'm glad she's better. Now, hopefully, she can move with her life and out of ours. Are you missing classes right now? I ask, because I'm interested. Only 2. I'm at home. Oh, good. What are your plans while you're here? Pick up my belongings from Susie, return to Hamden, continue painting and learning. Mr. Gray already has a couple of my paintings. What the hell? My stomach plunges into the basement once more. Are they hanging in my living room? I bridle at the thought. What sort of painting do you do? Abstracts, mainly. I see. My mind flicks through the now familiar paintings in the great room. 2 by his ex-sub, possibly. Mrs. Gray, can I speak frankly? She asks, completely oblivious to my warring emotions. By all means, I mutter, glancing at Prescott, who looks like she's relaxed a little. Layla leans forward as if to impart a long-held secret. I love Jeff, my boyfriend, who died earlier this year. Her voice dropped to a sad whisper. Holy shit, she's getting personal. I'm so sorry, I mutter automatically, but she continues as if she hasn't heard me. I loved my husband, and one other, she murmurs. My husband. The words are out of my mouth before I can stop them. Yes. She mouths the word. This is not new to me. When she lifts her brown eyes to mine, they are wide with conflicting emotions, and the overriding one seems to be apprehension. Of my reaction, perhaps? But my overwhelming response to this poor young woman is compassion. Mentally, I run through all the classical literature I can think of that deals with unrequited love. Swallowing hard, I clutch the moral high ground. I know. He's very easy to love, I whisper. Her eyes widen further in surprise, and she smiles. Yes, he is. Was. She corrects herself quickly and blushes. Then she giggles so sweetly that I can't help myself. I giggle too. Yes, Christian Grey makes us giggly. My subconscious rolls her eyes at me in despair and goes back to reading her dog-eared copy of Jane Eyre. I glance at my watch. Deep down, I know Christian will be here soon. You'll get your chance to see Christian. I thought I would. I know how protective he can be. She smiles. So this is her scheme. She's very shrewd. Or manipulative, whispers my subconscious. This is why you're here to see me? Yes. I see. And Christian right into her hands. Reluctantly, I have to acknowledge that she knows him well. He seemed very happy with you, she says. What? How would you know? From when I was in the apartment? She adds cautiously. Oh, hell. How could I forget that? Were you there often? No, but he was very different with you. Do I want to hear this? A shudder runs through me. My scalp prickles as I recall my fear when she was the unseen shadow in our apartment. You know it's against the law. Trespassing? She nods, gazing down at the table. She runs a fingernail along the edge. It was only a few times, and I was lucky not to get caught. Again, I need to thank Mr. Gray for that. He could have had me thrown in jail. I don't think he'd do that, I murmur. Suddenly, there is a flurry of activity outside the meeting room, and instinctively I know that Christian is in the building. A moment later, he bursts through the door, and before he closes it, I catch Taylor's eye as he stands patiently outside. Taylor's mouth is set in a grim line, and he doesn't return my tight smile. Hell, even he's mad at me. Christian's burning gray gaze pins first me, then Layla to our chairs. His demeanor is quietly determined, but I know better, and I suspect Layla does too. The menacing cool glint in his eyes reveals the truth. He's emanating rage, though he hides it well. In his gray suit, with his dark tie loosened and the top button of his white shirt undone, he looks at once businesslike and casual, and hot. His hair is in disarray, no doubt because he's been running his hands through it in exasperation. Layla looks nervously down at the edge of the table, running her index finger along the edge again as Christian looks from me to her and then to Prescott. You, he says to Prescott in a soft tone. You're fired. Get out, now. I blanch. Oh no, this isn't fair. Christian, I make to stand up. He holds his index finger up at me in warning. Don't, he says, his voice so ominously quiet that I'm immediately silenced and rooted to my seat. Bowing her head, Prescott walks briskly out of the room to join Taylor. Christian shuts the door behind her and walks to the edge of the table. Crap, crap, crap. That was my fault. Christian stands opposite Layla, and, placing both hands on the wooden surface, he leans forward. What the fuck are you doing here? He growls at her. Christian, I gasp. She ignores me. Well, he demands. Layla peeks up at him through long lashes, her eyes wide, her face ashen, her rosy glow gone. I wanted to see you, and you wouldn't let me, she whispers. So you came here to harass my wife? His voice is quiet, too quiet. Layla looks down at the table again. He stands. glowering at her. Layla, if you come anywhere near my wife again, I will cut off all support. Doctors, art school, medical insurance, all of it. Gone. Do you understand? Christian, I try again, but he silences me with a chilling look. Why is he being so unreasonable? My compassion for this sad woman blooms. Yes, she says, her voice just audible. What's Susanna doing in reception? She came with me. He runs a hand through his hair, glaring at her. Christian, please, I beg him. Layla just wants to say thank you. That's all. He ignores me, concentrating his wrath on Layla. Did you stay with Susanna while you were sick? Yes. Did she know what you were doing while you were staying with her? No. She was away on vacation. He strokes his index finger over his lower lip. Why do you need to see me? You know you should send any requests through Flynn. Do you need something? His tone has softened, maybe by a fraction. Layla runs her finger along the edge of the table again. Stop bullying her, Christian. I had to know. And for the first time, she looks up directly at him. Had to know what? He snaps. That you're okay. He gapes at her. That I'm okay? He scoffs, disbelieving. Yes. I'm fine. There. Question answered. Now Taylor will run you to SeaTac so you can go back to the East Coast. And if you take one step west of the Mississippi, it's all gone. Understand? Holy fuck. Christian. I gape at him. What the fuck is eating him? He cannot confine her to one side of the country. Yes, I understand, Layla says quietly. Good. Christian's tone is more conciliatory. It might not be convenient for Layla to go back now. She has plans. I object, outraged on her behalf. Christian glares at me. Anastasia, he warns, his voice icy. This does not concern you. I scowl at him. Of course it concerns me. He's in my office. There must be more to this than I know. He's not being rational. 50 Shades, my subconscious hisses at me. Layla came to see me, not you, I murmur petulantly. Layla turns her eyes impossibly wide. I had my instructions, Mrs. Gray. I disobeyed them. She glances nervously at my husband, then back at me. This is the Christian Gray I know, she says, her tone sad and wistful. Christian frowns at her, while all the breath evaporates from my lungs. I can't breathe. Was Christian like this with her all the time? Was he like this with me at first? I find it hard to remember. Giving me a forlorn smile, rises from the table. I'd like to stay until tomorrow. My flight is at noon, she says quietly to Christian. I'll have someone collect you at 10 to take you to the airport. Thank you. You're at Susanna's? Yes. Okay. I glare at Christian. He can't dictate to her like this. And how does he know where Susanna lives? Goodbye, Mrs. Gray. Thank you for seeing me. I stand and hold out my hand. She takes it gratefully and we shake. Goodbye. Good luck, I mutter, because I'm not sure what the protocol is for saying farewell to my husband's ex-submissive. She nods and turns to him. Goodbye, Christian. Christian's eyes soften a little. Goodbye, Layla. His voice is low. Dr. Flynn, remember. Yes, sir. He opens the door to usher her out, but she halts in front of him and looks up. He stills, watching her warily. I'm glad you're happy. You deserve to be, she says, and leaves before he can reply. He frowns after her, then nods to Taylor, who follows Layla toward the reception area. Closing the door, Christian gazes uncertainly at me. Don't even think about being angry with me, I hiss. Call Claude Bastille and kick the shit out of him or go see Flynn. His mouth drops open. He's surprised by my outburst, and his brow creases once more. You promised you wouldn't do this. Now his tone is accusatory. Do what? Defy me. No, I didn't. I said I'd be more considerate. I told you she was here. I had Prescott search her, and your other little friend, too. Prescott was with me the entire time. Now you fired the poor woman when she was only doing what I asked. I told you not to worry, yet here you are. I don't remember receiving your papal bull decreeing that I couldn't see Layla. I didn't know that my visitors were subject proscribed list. My voice rises with indignation as I warm to my cause. Christian regards me, his expression unreadable. After a moment, his mouth twists. Papal bull, he says, amused, and he visibly relaxes. I wasn't aiming to lighten our conversation, yet here he is, smirking at me, and that makes me madder. The exchange between him and his ex was painful to witness. How could he be so cold with her? What? He asks, exasperated, as my face remains resolutely straight. You? Why were you so callous? He sighs and shifts, stepping toward me and perching on the table. Anastasia? He says, as if to a child. You don't understand. Layla, Susanna, all of them. They were a pleasant, diverting pastime. But that's all. You are the center of my universe. And the last time you two were in a room together, she had you at gunpoint. I don't want her anywhere near you. But, Christian, she was ill. I know that. And I know she's better now. But I'm not giving her the benefit of the doubt anymore. What she did was unforgivable. But you just played right into her hands. She wanted to see you again, and she knew you'd come running if she came to see me. Christian shrugs as if he doesn't care. I don't want you tainted with my old life. What? Christian, you are who you are because of your old life. Your new life, whatever. What touches you, touches me. I accepted that when I agreed to marry you, because I love you. He stills. I know he finds it hard to hear this. She didn't hurt me. She loves you too. I don't give a fuck. I gape at him, shocked. And I'm shocked that he still has the capacity to shock me. This is the Christian Grey I know. Layla's words rattle around my head. His reaction to her was so cold, so much at odds with the man I've come to know and love. I frown, recalling the remorse he felt when she had her breakdown, when he thought he might in some way be responsible for her pain. I swallow, remembering, too, that he bathed her. My stomach twists painfully at the thought, and bile rises in my throat. How can he say he doesn't care about her? He did back then. What's changed? Sometimes, like now, I just don't understand him. He operates on a level far, far removed from mine. Why are you championing her cause all of a sudden? He asks, mystified and irritable. Look, Christian, I don't think Layla and I will be swapping recipes and knitting patterns anytime soon. But I didn't think you'd be so heartless to her. His eyes frost. I told you once, I don't have a heart. He mutters. I roll my eyes. Oh, now he is being adolescent. That's just not true, Christian. You're being ridiculous. You do care about her. You wouldn't be paying for art classes and the rest of that stuff if you didn't. Suddenly, it's my lifetime ambition to make him realize this. It's painstakingly obvious that he cares. Why does he deny it? It's like his feelings for his birth mother. Oh, shit. Of course. His feelings for Layla and his other submissives are tangled up with his feelings for his mother. I like to whip little brown-haired girls like you because you all look like the crack whore. No wonder he's so mad. I sigh and shake my head. Paging Dr. Flynn, please. How can he not see this? My heart swells for him momentarily. My lost boy. Why is it so hard for him to get back in touch with the humanity, the compassion he showed Layla when she had her breakdown? He glares at me, his eyes glittering with anger. This discussion is over. Let's go home. I glance at my watch. It's 4:20. I have work to do. It's too early, I mutter. Home, he insists. Christian, my voice is weary. I'm tired of having the same argument with you. He frowns as if he doesn't understand. You know, I elucidate. I do something you don't like, and you think of some way to get back at me. Usually involving some of your kinky fuckery, which is either mind-blowing or cruel. I shrug, resigned. This is exhausting and confusing. Mind-blowing? He asks. What? Usually, yes. What was mind-blowing? He asks, his eyes now shimmering with amused, sensual curiosity. And I know he's trying to distract me. Crap! I do not want to discuss this in SIP's meeting room. My subconscious examines her finely manicured nails with disdain. Shouldn't have brought the subject up then. You know, I blush, irritated with both him and myself. I can guess. He whispers, holy crap. I'm trying to castigate him, and he's confounding me. Christian, I like to please you. He delicately traces his thumb over my bottom lip. You do, I acknowledge, my voice a whisper. I know, he says softly. He leans forward and whispers in my ear. It's the one thing I do know. Oh, he smells good. He leans back and gazes down at me, his lips curled in an arrogant, I so own you smile. Pursing my lips, I strive to appear unaffected by his touch. He is so artful at diverting me from anything painful or anything he doesn't want to address. And you let him, my subconscious pipes up unhelpfully, gazing over her copy of Jane Eyre. What was mind-blowing, Anastasia? He prompts, a wicked gleam in his eye. You want the list? I ask. There's a list. He's pleased. Oh, this man is exhausting. Well, the handcuffs, I mumble, my mind catapulting back to our honeymoon. He furrows his brow and grasps my hand, tracing the pulse point on my wrist with his thumb. I don't want to mark you. Oh. His lips curl in a slow, carnal smile. Come home. His tone is seductive. I have work to do. Home, he says, more insistent. We gaze at each other, molten gray into bewildered blue, testing each other, testing our boundaries and our wills. I search his eyes for some understanding, trying to fathom how this man can go from raging control freak to seductive lover in one breath. His eyes grow larger and darker, his intention clear. Softly, he caresses my cheek. We could stay here. His voice is low and husky. Oh, no. No. Not in the office. Christian, I don't want to have sex here. Your mistress has just been in this room. She was never my mistress, he growls, his mouth flattening into a grim line. That's just semantics, Christian. He frowns, his expression puzzled. The seductive lover has gone. Don't overthink this, Anna. She's history, he says dismissively. I sigh. Maybe he's right. I just want him to admit to himself that he cares for her. A chill grips my heart. Oh no. This is why it's important to me. Suppose I do something unforgivable. Suppose I don't conform. Will I be history too? If he can turn like this, when he was so concerned and upset when Layla was ill, could he turn against me? I gasp, recalling the fragments of a dream. Gilt mirrors and the sound of his heels clicking on the marbled floor as he leaves me, standing alone in opulent splendor. No. The words are out of my mouth in whispered horror before I can stop them. Yes, he says, and grasping my chin, he leans down and plants a tender kiss on my lips. Oh, Christian, you scare me sometimes. I grasp his head in my hands, twist my fingers into his hair, and pull his lips to mine. He stills for a moment as his arms fold around me. Why? You could turn away from her so easily. He frowns. And you think I might turn away from you, Anna? Why the hell would you think that? What's brought this on? Nothing. Kiss me. Take me home, I plead. And as his lips touch mine, I am lost. Oh, please, I beg, as Christian blows gently on my sex. All in good time, he murmurs. I pull on my restraints and groan loudly in protest from his carnal assault. I'm trussed up in soft leather cuffs, each elbow bound to each knee, and Christian's head bobs and weaves between my legs, his masterful tongue teasing me, relentless. I open my eyes and gaze unseeing at our bedroom ceiling, which is bathed in the soft late afternoon light. His tongue moves round and round, swirling and curling over and around the center of my universe. I want to straighten my legs and struggle in a vain attempt to control the pleasure, but I can't. My fingers fist in his hair, and I tug hard to fight his sublime torture. Don't come, he murmurs in warning against me, his soft breath on my warm, wet flesh as he resists my fingers. I will spank you if you come. I moan. Control, Anna. It's all about control. His tongue renews its erotic incursion. Oh, he knows what he's doing. I am helpless to resist or stop my slavish reaction, and I try, really try, but my body detonates under his merciless ministrations, and his tongue doesn't stop as he wrings every last ounce of debilitating pleasure from me. Oh, Anna, he scolds. You came. His voice is soft with his triumphant reprimand. He flips me onto my front, and I shakily support myself on my forearms. He smacks me hard on my behind. Ah! I cry out. Control, he admonishes, and, grabbing my hips, he thrusts himself into me. I cry out again, my flesh still quivering from the aftershocks of my orgasm. He stills while deep inside me, and, leaning over, unclips first one, then the second cuff. He wraps his arm around me and pulls me into his lap, his front to my back, and his hand curls beneath my chin around my throat. I revel in the feeling of fullness. Move, he orders. I moan and rise up and down on his lap. Faster, he whispers, and I move faster and faster. He groans and his hand tips my head back as he nibbles my neck. His other hand travels leisurely across my body, from my hip down to my sex, down to my clitoris. Still sensitive from his earlier lavish attention, I whimper as his fingers close around me, teasing me once more. Yes, Anna, he rasps softly in my ear. You are mine. Only you. Yes, I breathe as my body tightens again, closing around him, cradling him in the most intimate way. Come for me, he demands, and I let go, my body obediently following his command. He holds me still as my climax ribs through me, and I call out his name. Oh, Anna, I love you. He groans and follows my lead as he bucks into me, finding his own release. He kisses my shoulder and smooths my hair from my face. Does that make the list, Mrs. Gray? He murmurs. I am lying, barely conscious, flat on my belly on our bed. Christian gently kneads my backside. He's propped up beside me on one elbow. Is that a yes? I smile. He grins and kisses me again, and reluctantly I roll on my side to face him. Well, he asks. Yes, but it's a long list. His face nearly splits in two, and he leans forward to kiss me gently. Good. Shall we have dinner? His eyes glow with love and humor. I nod. I am famished. I reach over to gently pull the little hairs on his chest. I want you to tell me something, I whisper. What? Don't get mad. What is it, Anna? You do care. His eyes widen, and all trace of his good humor vanishes. I want you to admit that you care, because the Christian I know and love would care. He stills, his eyes not leaving mine, and I'm witness to his internal struggle as if he's about to make the judgment of Solomon. He opens his mouth to say something, then closes it again as some fleeting emotion crosses his face. Pain, maybe? Say it. I will him. Yes. Yes, I care. Happy. His voice is barely a whisper. Oh, thank fuck for that. It's a relief. Yes, very. He frowns. I can't believe I'm talking to you now, here in our bed, about... I put my finger to his lips. We're not. Let's eat. I'm hungry. He sighs and shakes his head. You beguile and bewilder me, Mrs. Gray. Good. I lean up and kiss him. From Anastasia Gray. Subject, the list. Date, September 9th, 2011. 9:33. To Christian Gray. That's definitely at the top. Big smile emoticon. A. X. Anastasia Gray. Editor. SIP. From Christian Gray. Subject, tell me something new. Date, September 9th, 2011. 9:42. To Anastasia Gray. You've said that for the last 3 days. Make your mind up. Or we could try something else. Winking emoticon. Christian Gray, CEO, enjoying his game. Gray Enterprises Holdings, Inc. I grin at my screen. The last few evenings have been entertaining. We have relaxed again, Layla's brief interruption forgotten. I haven't quite worked up the courage to ask if any of her paintings hang on the walls, and frankly, I don't really care. My BlackBerry buzzes, and I answer, expecting Christian. Anna? Yes? Anna, honey, it's Jose Sr. Mr. Rodriguez, hi! My scalp prickles. What does Jose's dad want with me? Honey, I'm sorry to call you at work. It's Ray. His voice falters. What is it? What's happened? My heart leaps into my throat. Ray's been in an accident. Oh no. Daddy. I stop breathing. He's in the hospital. You'd better get here quick. Chapter 17. Mr. Rodriguez, what's happened? My voice is hoarse and thick with unshed tears. Ray, sweet Ray, my dad. He's been in a car accident. Okay, I'll come. I'll come now. Adrenaline has flooded my bloodstream, leaving panic in its wake. I'm finding it difficult to breathe. They've transferred him to Portland. Portland? What the hell is he doing in Portland? They airlifted him, Anna. I'm heading there now. OHSU. Oh, Anna, I didn't see the car. I just didn't see it. His voice cracks. Mr. Rodriguez, no. I'll see you there. Mr. Rodriguez chokes and the line goes dead. A dark dread seizes me by the throat, overwhelming me. Ray. No. No. I take a deep, steadying breath, pick up the phone, and call Roach. He answers on the second ring. Anna? Jerry? It's my father. Anna, what happened? I explain, barely pausing to breathe. Go. Of course you must go. I hope your mother's okay. Thank you. I'll keep you informed. Inadvertently, I slammed the phone down, but right now, I couldn't care less. Hannah! I call, aware of the anxiety in my voice. Moments later, she pokes her head around the door to find me packing my purse and grabbing papers to stuff into my briefcase. Yes, Anna? She frowns. My father has been in an accident. I had to go. Oh, dear. Cancel all my appointments today and Monday. You'll have to finish prepping the ebook presentation. Notes are in the shared. Get Courtney to help if you have to. Yes, Hannah whispers. I hope he's okay. Don't worry about anything here. We'll muddle through. I have my BlackBerry. The concern etched on her pinched, pale face is almost my undoing. Daddy. I grab my jacket, purse, and briefcase. I'll call you if I need anything. Do, please. Good luck, Anna. Hope he's okay. I give her a tight smile, fighting to maintain my composure, and exit my office. I try hard not to run all the way to reception. Sawyer leaps to his feet when I arrive. Mrs. Gray? He asks, confused by my sudden appearance. We're going to Portland, now. Okay, ma'am, he says, frowning, but opens the door. Moving is good. Mrs. Gray? Sawyer asks as we race toward the parking lot. Can I ask why we're making this unscheduled trip? It's my dad. He's been in an accident.
I see, Rabbi.
I see. Does Mr. Gray know? I'll call him from the car. Sawyer nods and opens the rear door to the Audi SUV, and I climb in. With shaking fingers, I reach for my diary and dial Christian's cell. Mrs. Gray. Andrew's voice is crisp and businesslike. Is Christian there? I breathe. He's somewhere in the building, ma'am. He's left his BlackBerry charging with me. I groan silently with frustration. Can you tell him I called? That I need to speak with him? It's urgent. I could try to track him down. He does have a habit of wandering off sometimes. Just get him to call me, please. I beg, fighting back tears. Certainly, Mrs. Gray. She hesitates. Is everything all right? No, I whisper, not trusting my voice. Please, just get him to call me. Yes, ma'am. I hang up. I cannot contain my anguish any longer. Pulling my knees up to my chest, I curl up on the rear seat and tears ooze, unwelcome, down my cheeks. We're in Portland, Mrs. Gray. Sawyer asks gently. OHSU, I choke out. The big hospital. Sawyer pulls out into the street and heads for the I-5, while I keen softly in the back of the car, muttering wordless prayers. Please let him be okay. Please let him be okay. My phone rings. Your love is king, startling me from my mantra. Christian! I gasp. Christ, Anna. What's wrong? It's Ray. He's been in an accident. Shit. Yes, I am on my way to Portland. Portland? Please tell me Sawyer is with you. Yes, he is driving. Where is Ray? At OHSU. I hear a muffled voice in the background. Yes, Roz. Christian snaps angrily. I know. Sorry, baby. I can be there in about 3 hours. I have business I need to finish here. I'll fly down. Oh, shit. Charlie Tango was back in commission, and last time Christian flew her, I have a meeting with some guys over from Taiwan. I can't blow them off. It's a deal we've been hammering out for months. Why do I know nothing about this? I'll leave as soon as I can. Okay, I whisper. And I want to say that it's okay, stay in Seattle and sort out your business, but the truth is, I want him with me. Oh, baby, he whispers. I'll be okay, Christian. Take your time. Don't rush. I don't want to worry about you, too. Fly safely. I will. Love you. I love you, too, baby. I'll keep Luke close. Yes, I will. I'll see you later. Bye. After hanging up, I hug my knees once more. I know nothing about Christian's business. What the hell is he doing with the Taiwanese? I gaze out the window as we pass King County International Airport / Boeing Field. He must fly safely. My stomach knots anew when nausea threatens. Ray and Christian? I don't think my heart could take that. Leaning back, I start my mantra again. Please let him be okay. Please let him be okay. Mrs. Gray. Sawyer's voice rouses me. We're on the hospital grounds. Back to my last visit to OHSU, when, on my second day, I fell off a stepladder at Clayton's, twisting my ankle. I recall Paul Clayton hovering over me and shudder at the memory. Sawyer pulls up to the drop-off point and leaps out to open my door. I'll go park, ma'am, and come find you. Leave your briefcase. I'll bring it. Thank you, Luke. He nods, and I walk briskly into the buzzing ER reception area. The receptionist at the desk gives me a polite smile, and within a few moments, she's located Ray and is sending me to the OR on the 3rd floor. OR? Fuck! Thank you, I mutter, trying to focus on her directions to the elevators. My stomach lurches as I almost run toward them. Let him be okay. Please let him be okay. The elevator is agonizingly slow, stopping on each floor. Come on, come on! I will it to move faster, scowling at the people strolling in and out and preventing me from getting to my dad. Finally, the doors open on the 3rd floor and I rush to a reception desk, this one staffed by nurses in navy uniforms. Can I help you? Asks one officious nurse with a myopic stare. My father, Raymond Steele, he's just been admitted. He's in OR 4, I think. Even as I say the words, I am willing them not to be true. Let me check, Miss Steele. I nod, not bothering to correct her as she gazes intently at her computer screen. Yes, he's been in for a couple of hours. If you'd like to wait, I'll let them know that you're here. The waiting room's there. She points toward a large white door helpfully labeled Waiting Room in bold blue lettering. Is he okay? I ask, trying to keep my voice steady. You'll have to wait for one of the attending doctors to brief you, ma'am. Thank you, I mutter, but inside I am screaming. I want to know now! I open the door to reveal a functional, austere waiting room, where Mr. Rodriguez and Jose are seated. No, Mr. Rodriguez gasps. His arm is in a cast, and his cheek is bruised on one side. He's in a wheelchair with one of his legs in a cast, too. I gingerly wrap my arms around him. Oh, Mr. Rodriguez, I sob. Anna, honey. He pats my back with his uninjured arm. I'm so sorry, he mumbles, his hoarse voice cracking. Oh, no. No, Papa, Jose says softly in admonishment as he hovers behind me. When I turn, he pulls me into his arms and holds me. Jose, I mutter, and I'm lost, tears falling as all the tension, fear, and heartache of the last 3 hours surface. Hey, Anna, don't cry. Jose gently strokes my hair. I wrap my arms around his neck and softly weep. We stand like this for ages, and I'm so grateful that my friend is here. We pull apart when Sawyer joins us in the waiting room. Mr. Rodriguez hands me a tissue from a conveniently placed box, and I dry my tears. This is Mr. Sawyer. Security, I murmur. Sawyer nods politely at Jose and Mr. Rodriguez, then moves to take a seat in the corner. Sit down, Anna. Jose ushers me to one of the vinyl-covered armchairs. What happened? Do we know how he is? What are they doing? Jose holds up his hands to halt my barrage of questions and sits down beside me. We don't have any news. Ray, Dad, and I were on a fishing trip to Astoria. We were hit by some stupid fucking drunk. Mr. Rodriguez tries to interrupt, stammering an apology. Calmate, Papa, Jose snaps. I don't have a mark on me, just a couple of bruised ribs and a knock on the head. Dad broke his wrist and ankle, but the car hit the passenger side, and Ray. Oh no. No. Panic swamps my limbic system again. No, no, no. My body shudders and chills as I imagine what's happening to Ray in the OR. He's in surgery. We were taken to the community hospital in Astoria, but they airlifted Ray here. We don't know what they're doing. We are waiting for news. I start to shake. Hey, Anna, you cold? I nod. I'm in my white sleeveless shirt and black summer jacket, and neither provides warmth. Gingerly, Jose pulls off his leather jacket and wraps it around my shoulders. Shall I get you some tea, ma'am? Sawyer is by my side. I nod gratefully, and he disappears from the room. Why were you fishing in Astoria? I ask. Jose shrugs. The fishing's supposed to be good there. We were having a boys' get-together. Some bonding time with my old man before academia heats up for my final year. Jose's dark eyes are large and luminous with fear and regret. You could have been hurt too. And Mr. Rodriguez? Worse. I gulp at the thought. My body temperature drops further, and I shiver once more. Jose takes my hand. Hell, Anna, you're freezing. Mr. Rodriguez inches forward and takes my other hand in his good one. Anna, I am so sorry. Mr. Rodriguez, please. It was an accident. My voice fades to a whisper. Call me Jose. He corrects me. I give him a weak smile, because that's all I can manage. I shiver once more. The police took the asshole into custody. 7 in the morning and the guy was out of his skull. Jose hisses in disgust. Sawyer re-enters, bearing a paper cup of hot water and a separate tea bag. He knows how I take my tea. I'm surprised and glad for the distraction. Mr. Rodriguez and Jose release my hands as I gratefully take the cup from Sawyer. Do either of you want anything? Sawyer asks Mr. Rodriguez and Jose. They both shake their heads, and Sawyer resumes his seat in the corner. I dunk my tea bag in the water and, rising shakily, dispose of the used tea bag in a small trash can. What's taking them so long? I mutter to no one in particular as I take a sip. Daddy, please let him be okay. Please let him be okay. We'll know soon enough, Anna. Jose says gently. I nod and take another sip. I take my seat again beside him. We wait and wait. Mr. Rodriguez with his eyes closed, praying, I think, and Jose holding my hand and squeezing it every now and then. I slowly sip my tea. It's not Twinings, but some cheap, nasty brand, and it tastes disgusting. I remember the last time I waited for news, the last time I thought all was lost, when Charlie Tango went missing. Closing my eyes, I offer up a silent prayer for the safe passage of my husband. I glance at my watch. 2:15 p.m. He should be here soon. My tea is cold. Ugh. I stand up and pace, then sit down again. Why haven't the doctors been to see me? I take Jose's hand and he gives mine another reassuring squeeze. Please let him be okay. Please let him be okay. Time crawls so slowly. Suddenly the door opens, and we all glance up expectantly, my stomach nodding. Is this it? Christian strides in. His face darkens momentarily when he notices my hand in Jose's. Christian! I gasp and leap up, thanking God he's arrived safely. Then I'm wrapped in his arms, his nose in my... I'm inhaling his scent, his warmth, his love. A small part of me feels calmer, stronger, and more resilient because he's here. Oh, the difference his presence makes to my peace of mind. Any news? I shake my head, unable to speak. Jose. He nods a greeting. Christian, this is my father, Jose Sr. Mr. Rodriguez, we met at the wedding. I take it you were in the accident too? Jose briefly retells the story. Are you both well enough to be here? Christian asks. We don't want to be anywhere else, Mr. Rodriguez says, his voice quiet and laced with pain. Christian nods. Taking my hand, he sits me down and takes a seat beside me. Have you eaten? He asks. I shake my head. Are you hungry? I shake my head. But you're cold. He asks, eyeing Jose's jacket. I nod. He shifts in his chair, but wisely says nothing. The door opens again, and a young doctor in bright blue scrubs enters. He looks exhausted and harrowed. All the blood disappears from my head as I stumble to my feet. Ray Steele? I whisper as Christian stands beside me, putting his arm around my waist. You're his next of kin? The doctor asks. His bright blue eyes almost match his scrubs. And under any other circumstances, I would have found him attractive. I'm his daughter, Anna. Miss Steele. Mrs. Gray. Christian interrupts him. My apologies, the doctor stammers, and for a moment I want to kick Christian. I'm Dr. Crow. Your father is stable but in critical condition. What does that mean? My knees buckle beneath me, and only Christian's supporting arm prevents me from falling to the floor. He suffered severe internal injuries, Dr. Crow says, principally to his diaphragm, but we've managed to repair them, and we were able to save his spleen. Unfortunately, he suffered a cardiac arrest during the operation because of blood loss. We managed to get his heart going again, but this remains a concern. However, our gravest concern is that he suffered severe contusions to the head, and the MRI shows that he has swelling in his brain. We've induced a coma to keep him quiet and still while we monitor the brain swelling. Brain damage? No. It's standard procedure in these cases. For now, we just have to wait and see. And what's the prognosis? Christian asks coolly. Mr. Gray, it's difficult to say at the moment. It's possible he could make a complete recovery, but that's in God's hands now. How long will you keep him in a coma? That depends on how his brain responds, usually 72 to 96 hours. Oh, so long. Can I see him? Whisper. Yes, you should be able to see him in about half an hour. He's been taken to the ICU on the 6th floor. Thank you, Doctor. Dr. Crow nods, leaves us. Well, he's alive, I whisper to Christian, and the tears start to roll down my face once more. Sit down, Christian orders gently. Papa, I think we should go. You need to rest. We won't know anything for a while. Jose murmurs to Mr. Rodriguez, who gazes blankly at his son. We can come back this evening, after you've rested. That's okay, isn't it, Anna? Jose turns, imploring me. Of course. Are you staying in Portland? Christian asks. Jose nods. Do you need a ride home? Jose frowns. I was going to order a cab. Luke can take you. Sawyer stands, and Jose looks confused. Luke Sawyer, I murmur in clarification. Oh, sure. Yeah, we'd appreciate it. Thanks, Christian. Standing, I hug Mr. Rodriguez and Jose in quick succession. Stay strong, Anna. Jose whispers in my ear. He's a fit and healthy man. The odds are in his favor. I hope so. I hug him hard. Then, releasing him, I shrug off his jacket and hand it back to him. Keep it if you're still cold. No, I'm okay. Thanks. Glancing nervously at Christian, I see that he's regarding us impassively. Christian takes my hand. If there's any change, I'll let you know right away, I say, as Jose pushes his father's wheelchair toward the door Sawyer is holding open. Mr. Rodriguez raises his hand, and they pause in the doorway. He'll be in my prayers, Anna. His voice wavers. It's been so good to reconnect with him after all these years. He's become a good friend. And with that, they leave. Christian and I are alone. He caresses my cheek. You're pale. Come here. He sits down on the chair and pulls me onto his lap, folding me into his arms again, and I go willingly. I snuggle up against him, feeling oppressed by my stepfather's misfortune, but grateful that my husband is here to comfort me. He gently strokes my hair and holds my hand. "How was Charlie Tango?" I ask. He grins. "Oh, she was yar," he says, quiet pride in his voice. It makes me smile properly for the first time in several hours, and I glance at him, puzzled. "Yar?" It's a line from the Philadelphia Story, Grace's favorite film. I don't know it. I think I have it on Blu-ray at home. We can watch it and make out. He kisses my hair and smiles once more. "Can I persuade you to eat something?" he asks. My smile disappears. "Not now. I want to see Ray first." His shoulders slump, but he doesn't push me. "How are the Taiwanese?" "Amenable," he says. "Amenable how?" "They let me buy their shipyard for less than the price I was willing to pay." He's bought a shipyard? That's good? Yes, that's good. But I thought you had a shipyard over here. I do. We're going to use that to do the fitting out. Build the holes in the Far East. It's cheaper. Oh. What about the workforce of the shipyard here? We'll redeploy. We should be able to keep redundancies to a minimum. He kisses my hair. Shall we check on Ray? He asks, his voice soft. The ICU on the 6th floor is a stark, sterile, functional ward with whispered voices and machinery. 4 patients are each housed in their own separate high-tech area. Ray is at the far end. Daddy. He looks so small in his large bed, surrounded by all this technology. It's a shock. My dad has never been so diminished. There's a tube in his mouth, and various lines pass through drips into a needle in each arm. A small clamp is attached to his finger. I wonder vaguely what that's for. His leg is on top of the sheets, encased in a blue cast. A monitor displays his heart rate. Beep, beep, beep. It's beating strong and steady. This I know. I move slowly toward him. His chest is covered in a large, pristine bandage that disappears beneath the thin sheet that protects his modesty. I realize that the tube pulling at the right corner of his mouth leads to a ventilator. Its noise is weaving with the beep, beep, beep of his heart monitor into a percussive rhythmic beat. Sucking, expelling, sucking, expelling, sucking, expelling, in time with the beeps. There are 4 lines on the screen of his heart monitor, each moving steadily across, demonstrating clearly that Ray is still with us. Oh, Daddy. Even though his mouth is distorted by the ventilator tube, he looks peaceful, lying there fast asleep. A petite young nurse stands to one side, checking his monitors. Can I touch him? I ask her, tentatively reaching for his hand. Yes, she smiles kindly. Her badge says Kelly, RN, and she must be in her 20s. She's blonde with dark, dark eyes. Christian stands at the end of the bed, watching me carefully as I clasp Ray's hand. It's surprisingly warm, and that's my undoing. I sink onto the chair by the bed, place my head gently against Ray's arm, and start to sob. Oh, Daddy, please get better, I whisper. Please. Christian puts his hand on my shoulder and gives it a reassuring squeeze. All Mr. Steele's vitals are good, Nurse Kelly says quietly. Thank you, Christian murmurs. I glance up in time to see her gape. She's finally gotten a good look at my husband. I don't care. She can gape at Christian all she likes as long as she makes my father well again. Can he hear me? I ask. He's in a deep sleep, but who knows? Can I sit for a while? Sure thing. She smiles at me, her cheeks pink from a telltale blush. Incongruously, I find myself thinking blonde is not her true color. Christian gazes down at me, ignoring her. I need to make a call. I'll be outside. I'll give you some alone time with your dad. I nod. He kisses my hair and walks out of the room. I hold Ray's hand, marveling at the irony that it's only now, when he's unconscious and can't hear me, that I really want to tell him how much I love him. This man has been my constant, my rock, and I've never thought about it until now. I'm not flesh of his flesh, but he's my dad, and I love him so very much. My tears trail down my cheeks. Please get better. Very quietly, so as not to disturb anyone, I tell him about our weekend in Aspen, and about last weekend when we were soaring and sailing aboard the Grace. I tell him about our new house, our plans, about how we hope to make it ecologically sustainable. I promise to take him with us to Aspen so he can go fishing with Christian, and assure him that Mr. Rodriguez and Jose will both be welcome too. Please be here to do that, Daddy. Please. Ray remains immobile, the ventilator sucking and expelling, and the monotonous but reassuring beep, beep of his heart monitor his only response. When I look up, Christian is sitting quietly at the end of the bed. I don't know how long he's been there. Hi, he says, his eyes glowing with compassion and concern. Hi. So I'm going fishing with your dad, Mr. Rodriguez, and Jose? He asks. I nod. Okay, let's go eat. Let him sleep. I frown. I don't want to leave him. Anna, he's in a coma. I've given our cell numbers to the nurses here. If there's any change, they'll call us. We'll eat, check into a hotel, rest up, then come back this evening. The suite at the Heathman looks just as I remember it. How often have I thought about that first night and morning I spent with Christian Grey? I stand in the entrance to the suite, paralyzed. Geez, it all started here. Home away from home, Christian says, his voice soft, putting my briefcase down beside one of the overstuffed couches. Do you want a shower? A bath? What do you need, Anna? Christian gazes at me, and I know he's rudderless, my lost boy dealing with events beyond his control. He's been withdrawn and contemplative all afternoon. This is a situation he cannot manipulate and predict. This is real life in the raw, and he's kept himself from that for so long. He's exposed and helpless now. My sweet, sheltered 50 shades. A bath. I'd like a bath, I murmur, aware that keeping him busy will make him feel better. Useful, even. Oh, Christian, I'm numb, and I'm cold, and I'm scared, but I'm so glad you're here with me. Bath. Good. Yes. He strides into the bedroom and out of sight into the palatial bathroom. A few moments later, the roar of water gushing to fill the tub echoes from the room. Finally, I galvanize myself to follow him into the bedroom. I'm dismayed to see several bags from Nordstrom on the bed. Christian re-enters, sleeves rolled up, tie and jacket discarded. I sent Taylor to get some things. Nightwear, you know, he says, eyeing me warily. Of course he did. I nod my approval to make him feel better. Where is Taylor? Oh, Anna, Christian murmurs. I've not seen you like this. You're normally so brave and strong. I don't know what to say. I merely gaze wide-eyed at him. I have nothing to give right now. I think I'm in shock. I wrap my arms around myself, trying to keep the pervading cold at bay, even though I know it's a fruitless task, as this cold comes from within. Christian pulls me into his arms. Baby, he's alive. His vital signs are good. We just have to be patient. He murmurs. Come. He takes my hand and leads me into the bathroom. Gently, he slips my jacket off my shoulders and places it on the bathroom chair. Then, turning back, he undoes the buttons on my shirt. The water is deliciously warm and fragrant, the smell of lotus blossom heavy in the warm, sultry air of the bathroom. I lie between Christian's legs, my back to his front. My feet are resting on top of his. We're both quiet and introspective, and I'm finally feeling warm. Intermittently, Christian kisses my hair as I absentmindedly pop the bubbles in the foam. His arm is wrapped around my shoulders. You didn't get into the bath with Layla, did you? That time you bathed her? I ask. He stiffens and snorts, his hand tightening on my shoulder where it rests. No. He sounds astounded. I thought so. Good. He tugs gently at my hair knotted in a crude bun, tilting my head around so he can see my face. You ask. I shrug. Morbid curiosity? I don't know. Seeing her this week? His face hardens. I see. Less of the morbid. His tone is reproachful. How long are you going to support her? Until she's on her feet. I don't know. He shrugs. Why? Who you support? There was one, yes. No longer though. Oh? She's studying to be a doctor. She's qualified now and has someone else. Another dominant? Yes. Layla says you have 2 of her paintings. I whisper. I used to. I didn't really care for them. They had technical merit, but they were too colorful for me. I think Elliot has them. As we know, he has no taste. I giggle, and he wraps his other arm around me, sloshing water over the side of the bath. That's better, he whispers, and kisses my temple. He's marrying my best friend. Then I'd better shut my mouth, he says. I feel more relaxed after our bath. Wrapped in my soft Heathman robe, I gaze at the various bags on the bed. Geez, this must be more than nightwear. Tentatively, I peek into one. A pair of jeans and a pale blue hooded sweatshirt, my size. Holy cow. Taylor's bought a whole weekend's worth of clothes, and he knows what I like. I smile, remembering this is not the first time he's shopped for clothes for me when I was at the Heathman. Apart from harassing me at Clayton's, have you ever actually gone into a store and just bought stuff? Harassing you? Yes, harassing me. You were flustered, if I recall. And that young boy was all over you. What was his name? Paul, one of your many admirers. I roll my eyes, and he smiles a relieved, genuine smile, and kisses me. There's my girl, he whispers. Get dressed. I don't want you getting cold again. Ready, I murmur. Christian is working on the Mac in the study area of the suite. He's dressed in black jeans and a gray cable-knit sweater. T-shirt. You look so young, Christian says softly, glancing up, his eyes glowing. And to think, you'll be a whole year older tomorrow. His voice is wistful. I give him a sad smile. I don't feel much like celebrating. Can we go see Ray now? Sure. I wish you'd eat something. You barely touched your food. Christian, please. I'm just not hungry. Maybe after we've seen Ray. I want to wish him good night. As we arrive at the ICU, we meet Jose leaving. He's alone. Anna, Christian, hi. Where's your dad? He was too tired to come back. He was in a car accident this morning. Jose grins ruefully, and his painkillers have kicked in. He was out for the count. I had to fight to get in to see Ray since I'm not next of kin. And? I ask anxiously. He's good, Anna. Same, but all good. Relief floods my system. No news is good news. See you tomorrow, birthday girl? Sure, we'll be here. Jose eyes Christian quickly, then pulls me into a brief hug. Mañana. Good night, Jose. Goodbye, Jose, Christian says. Jose nods and walks down the corridor. He's still nuts about me, Christian says quietly. No, he's not. And even if he is, I shrug because right now, I just don't care. Christian gives me a tight smile and my heart melts. Well done, I murmur. He frowns. For not frothing at the mouth. He gapes at me, wounded, but amused too. I've never frothed. Let's see your dad. I have a surprise for you. Surprise? My eyes widen in alarm. Come. Christian takes my hand and we push open the double doors of the ICU. Standing at the end of Ray's bed is Grace, deep in discussion with Crow and a second doctor, a woman I've not seen before. Seeing us, Grace grins. Oh, thank heavens. Christian. She kisses his cheek, then turns to me and folds me in her warm embrace. Anna, how are you holding up? I'm fine. It's my father I'm worried about. He's in good hands. Dr. Sluter is an expert in her field. We trained together at Yale. Oh, Mrs. Gray? Dr. Sluter greets me very formally. She's short-haired and elfin with a shy smile and a soft southern accent. As the lead physician for your father, I'm pleased to tell you that all is on track. His vital signs are stable and strong. We have every faith that he'll make a complete recovery. The brain swelling has stopped and shows signs of decreasing. This is very encouraging after such a short time. That's good news, I murmur. She smiles warmly at me. It is, Mrs. Gray. We're taking real good care of him. Great to see you again, Grace. Grace smiles. Likewise, Lorena. Dr. Crow, let's leave these good people to visit with Mr. Steele. Crow follows in Dr. Sluter's wake to the exit. I glance over at Ray, and for the first time since his accident, I feel more hopeful. Dr. Sluter and Grace's kind words have rekindled my hope. Grace takes my hand and squeezes gently. Anna, sweetheart, sit with him. Talk to him. It's all good. I'll visit with Christian in the waiting room. I nod. Christian smiles his reassurance, and he and Heather leave me with my beloved father sleeping peacefully to the gentle lullaby of his ventilator and heart monitor. I slip Christian's white t-shirt on and get into bed. You seem brighter, Christian says cautiously as he pulls on his pajamas. Yes, I think talking to Dr. Sluter and your mom made a big difference. Did you ask Grace to come here? Christian slides into bed and pulls me to his arms, turning me to face away from him. No, she wanted to come and check on your dad herself. How did she know? I called her this morning. Oh, baby, you're exhausted. You should sleep. I murmur in agreement. He's right. I'm so tired. It's been an emotional day. I crane my head around and gaze at him a beat. We're not going to make love? And I'm relieved. In fact, he's had a totally hands-off approach with me all day. I wonder if I should be alarmed by this turn of events, but since my inner goddess has left the building and taken my libido with her, I'll think about it in the morning. I turn over and snuggle against Christian, wrapping my leg over his. Promise me something, he says softly. It's a question that I'm too tired to articulate. Promise me you'll eat something tomorrow. I can just about tolerate you wearing another man's jacket without frothing at the mouth, but, Anna, you must eat, please. I acquiesce. He kisses my hair. Thank you for being here, I mumble and sleepily kiss his chest. Where else would I be? I want to be wherever you are, Anna. Being here makes me think of how far we've come. And the night I first slept with you. What a night that was. I watched you for hours. You were just yar. He breathes. I smile against his chest. Sleep, he murmurs, and it's a command. I close my eyes and drift. Chapter 18. I stir. Opening my eyes to a bright September morning, warm and comfortable between clean, crisp sheets. I take a moment to orient myself and am overwhelmed by a sense of deja vu. Of course, I'm at the Heathman. Shit! Daddy! I gasp out loud, recalling with a gut-wrenching surge of apprehension that twists my heart and starts it pounding why I'm in Portland. Hey! Christian is sitting on the edge of the bed. He strokes my cheek with his knuckles, instantly calming me. I called the ICU this morning. Ray had a good night. It's all good, he says reassuringly. Oh, good. Thank you, I mutter, sitting up. He leans in and presses his lips to my forehead. Good morning, Anna. He whispers and kisses my temple. Hi, I mutter. He's up and dressed in a black t-shirt and blue jeans. Hi, he replies, his eyes soft and warm. I want to wish you happy birthday. Is that okay? I offer him a tentative smile and caress his cheek. Yes, of course. Thank you for everything. His brow furrows. Everything? Everything. He looks momentarily confused, but it's fleeting, and his eyes widen with anticipation. Here. He hands me a small, exquisitely wrapped box with a tiny gift card. In spite of the worry I feel about my father, I sense Christian's anxiety and excitement, and it's infectious. I read the card. For all our firsts on your first birthday as my beloved wife, I love you. C. X. Oh my, how sweet is that? I love you too, I murmur, smiling at him. He grins. Open it. Unwrapping the paper carefully so it doesn't tear, I find a beautiful red leather box. Cartier. It's familiar thanks to my second chance earrings and my watch. Cautiously, I open the box to discover a delicate charm bracelet of silver or platinum or white gold. I don't know, but it's absolutely enchanting. Attached to it, several charms. The Eiffel Tower, a London black cab, a helicopter, Charlie Tango, a glider, the Soaring, a catamaran, the Grace, a bed, and an ice cream cone? I look up at him, bemused. Vanilla? He shrugs apologetically, and I can't help but laugh. Of course. Christian, this is beautiful. Thank you. It's... My favorite is the heart. It's a locket. You can put a picture or whatever in that. A picture of you? I glance at him through my lashes. Always in my heart. He smiles his lovely, heartbreakingly shy smile. I fondle the last two charms, a letter, C. Oh yes, I was his first girlfriend to use his first name. I smile at the thought. And finally, there's a key. To my heart and soul, he whispers. Tears prick my eyes. I launch myself at him, curling my arms around his neck and settling into his lap. It's such a thoughtful present. I love it. Thank you, I murmur against his ear. Oh, he smells so good. Clean, of fresh linen, body wash, and Christian. Like home, my home. My threatened tears begin to fall. He groans softly and enfolds me in his embrace. I don't know what I'd do without you. My voice cracks as I try to hold back the overwhelming swell of emotion. He swallows hard and tightens his hold on me. Please don't cry. I sniff in a rather unladylike way. I'm sorry. I'm just so happy and sad and anxious at the same time. It's bittersweet. Hey. His voice is feather soft. Tipping my head back, he plants a gentle kiss on my lips. I know, I whisper, and I'm rewarded with his shy smile again. I wish we were in happier circumstances and at home, but we're here. He shrugs apologetically once more. Come, up you go. After breakfast, we'll check on Ray. Once dressed in my new jeans and t-shirt, my appetite makes a brief but welcome return during breakfast in our suite. I know Christian is pleased to see me eating my granola and Greek yogurt. Thank you for ordering my favorite breakfast. It's your birthday, Christian says softly, and you have to stop thanking me. He rolls his eyes in exasperation, but fondly, I think. I just Christian in command and control. How could I forget? Would I want him any other way? I smile. Yes, it is. He gives me a puzzled look, then shakes his head. Shall we go? I'll just brush my teeth. He smirks. Okay. Why is he smirking? The thought nags me as I head into the bathroom. A memory springs unbidden to my mind. I used his toothbrush after I first spent the night with him. I smirk and grab his toothbrush in homage to that first time. Gazing at myself as I brush my teeth, I'm pale. Too pale. But then, I'm always pale. The last time I was here, I was single. And now, I'm married at 22. I'm getting old. I rinse out my mouth. Holding up my wrist, I shake it, and the charms on my bracelet give a satisfying rattle. How does my sweet 50 always know exactly the right thing to give me? I take a deep breath, attempting to stem the emotions still lurking in my system, and gaze down at the bracelet once more. I bet it cost a fortune. Ah, well, you can afford it. As we walk to the elevators, Christian takes my hand and kisses my knuckles, his thumb brushing over Charlie Tango on my bracelet. You like? More than like. I love it. Very much. Like you. He smiles and kisses my knuckles once more. I feel lighter than I did yesterday. Perhaps because it's morning and the world always seems a more hopeful place than it does in the dead of night. Or maybe it's my husband's sweet wake-up. Or maybe it's knowing that Ray is no worse. As we step into the empty elevator, I glance up at Christian. His eyes flicker quickly down to mine, and he smirks again. Don't. He whispers as the doors shut. Don't what? Look at me like that. Fuck the paperwork, I mutter, grinning. He laughs, and it's such a carefree, boyish sound. His arms and tilts my head up. Someday, I'll rent this elevator for a whole afternoon. Just the afternoon? I arch my brow. Mrs. Gray, you are greedy. When it comes to you, I am. I'm very glad to hear it. He kisses me gently, and I don't know if it's because we are in this elevator or because he's not touched me in more than 24 hours, or if he's just my intoxicating husband. But desire unwinds and stretches lazily deep in my belly. I run my fingers into his hair and deepen the kiss, pushing him against the wall and bringing my body flush against his. He groans into my mouth and cups my head, cradling me as we kiss. Really kiss. Our tongues exploring the oh-so-familiar but still oh-so-new, oh-so exciting territory that is the other's mouth. My inner goddess swoons, bringing my libido back from Perda. I caress his dear, dear face in my hands. Anna, he breathes. I love you, Christian Grey. Don't forget that. I whisper as I gaze into darkening gray eyes. The elevator comes smoothly to a halt and the doors open. Let's go and see your father before I decide to rent this today. He kisses me quickly, takes my hand, and leads me into the lobby. As we walk past the concierge, Christian gives a discreet signal to the kindly middle-aged man standing behind the desk. He nods and picks up his phone. I glance questioningly at Christian, and he gives me his secret smile. I frown at him, and for a moment, he looks nervous. Where's Taylor? I ask. We'll see him shortly. Of course, he's probably fetching the car. Sawyer? Running errands. What errands? Christian avoids the revolving door, and I know it's so he doesn't have to release my hand. The thought warms me. Outside, it's a mild, late summer morning, but the scent of the coming fall is in the breeze. I glance around, looking for the Audi SUV and Taylor. No sign. Christian's hand tightens around mine, and I look up at him. He seems anxious. What is it? He shrugs. The hum of an approaching car engine distracts me. It's throaty. Familiar. As I turn to find the source of the noise, it stops suddenly. Taylor is climbing out of a sleek white sports car parked in front of us. Oh shit! It's an 8! I whip my head back to Christian, who's watching me warily. You can buy me one for my birthday. A white one, I think. Happy birthday, he says. And I know he's gauging my reaction. I gape at him because that's all I can do. He holds out a key. You are completely over the top, I whisper. He's bought me a fucking Audi R8. Holy shit. Just like I asked. My face splits in a huge grin, and I jump up and down on the spot in a moment of unguarded and unbridled overexcitement. Christian's expression mirrors mine, and I dance forward into his waiting arms. He swings me around. You have more money than sense, I whoop. I love it. Thank you. He stops and dips me low suddenly, startling me, so that I have to grasp his upper arms. Anything for you, Mrs. Gray. He grinned me. Oh my, what a very public display of affection. He bends and kisses me. Of course, it's yours. He stands me up and releases me, and I hurry around to the driver's door. Taylor opens it for me, smiling broadly. Happy birthday, Mrs. Gray. Thank you, Taylor. I startle him by giving him a swift hug, which he returns awkwardly. He is still blushing when I climb into the car, and he closes the door promptly once I'm inside. Drive safe, Mrs. Gray, he says gruffly. I beam up at him, barely able to contain my excitement. Will do, I promise, putting the key in the ignition as Christian stretches out beside me. Take it easy. Nobody cheating us now, he warns. When I turn the key, the engine thunders to life. I check the rear view and some mirrors, and, spotting a rare moment of clear traffic, execute a huge, perfect U-turn and roar off in the direction of OSHU. Whoa! Christian exclaims, alarmed. I don't want you in the ICU beside your father. Slow down, he growls, not to be argued with. I ease off the accelerator and grin at him. Better? Much, he mutters, trying hard to look stern and failing miserably. Ray's condition is the same. Seeing him grounds me after the heady road trip here. I really should drive more carefully. You can't legislate for every drunk driver in this world. I might have the tubes. My father looks comfortable, and I think he has a little more color in his cheeks. While I tell him about my morning, Christian wanders off to the waiting room to make phone calls. Nurse Kelly hovers, checking Ray's lines and making notes on his chart. All his signs are good, Mrs. Gray. She smiles kindly at me. That's very encouraging. A little later, Dr. Crow appears with 2 nursing assistants and says warmly, Mrs. Gray, it's time to take your father up to radiology. We're giving him a CT scan to see how his brain is doing. Will you be long? Up to an hour. I'll wait. I'd like to know. Sure thing, Mrs. Gray. I wander into the thankfully empty waiting room, where Christian is talking on the phone, pacing. As he speaks, he gazes out the window at the panoramic view of Portland. He turns to me when I shut the door, and he looks angry. How far above the limit? I see. All charges. Everything. Anna's father is in the ICU. I want you to throw the f*** at him, Dad. Good. Keep me informed. He hangs up. The other driver? He nods. Some drunken trailer trash from southeast Portland. He sneers, and I'm shocked by his terminology and his derisory tone. He walks over to me, and his tone softens. Finished with Ray? Do you want to go? No. I peer up at him, still reeling at his display of contempt. What's wrong? Nothing. Ray's being taken to for a CT scan to check the swelling in his brain. I'd like to wait for the results. Okay, we'll wait. He sits down and holds out his arms. As we're alone, I go willingly and curl up in his lap. This is not how I envisaged spending today, Christian murmurs into my hair. Me neither, but I'm feeling more positive now. Your mom was very reassuring. It was kind of her to come last night. Christian strokes my back and rests his chin on my head. My mom is an amazing woman. She is. You're very lucky to have her. Christian nods. I should call my mom, tell her about Ray. I murmur, and Christian stiffens. I'm surprised she hasn't called me. I frown in a moment of realization. In fact, I feel hurt. It's my birthday after all. She was there when I was born. Why hasn't she called? Maybe she did, Christian says. I fish my BlackBerry out of my pocket. It shows no missed calls, but quite a few texts. Happy birthdays from Kate, Jose, Mia, and Ethan. Nothing from my mother. I shake my head despondently. Call her now, he says softly. I do, but there's no reply. Just the answering machine. I don't leave a message. How can my own mother forget my birthday? She's not there. When I know the results of the brain scan. Christian tightens his arms around me, nuzzling my hair once more, and wisely makes note of my mother's lack of maternal concern.